Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back. Alhamdulillah, tonight we're going to continue our journey across the universe. Okay, so last week and last 2 weeks we have covered or we have extend our journey across the solar system, and we went to the nearest stars, our local neighborhood of stars, and now we're going to go further than that. Okay, like they say, to the infinity and beyond. Okay, now let me, where is the thing? The last slide that we stopped was here, the wood cloud. Then after that, yeah, the solar, which is, no, this is the one. The sun's closest neighbors. Okay, so these are the we call it the closest stars to the sun. Some people say that our closest star is the sun, which is of course technically correct, but some people they don't agree with that. They say the sun is a sun, although it's a star, but we call it sun. We couldn't call it a star. So therefore, the closest star to us will be the Alpha Centauri or the Proxima Centauri, right? Like I said, this is not a binary star. Binary stars consist of two stars orbiting each other, but it consists of three stars: Alpha Centauri A, Alpha Centauri B, and Proxima Centauri. Right now, right, because it's orbiting around, they are orbiting around each other. Now, the closest star to us actually is the Proxima Centauri, because it is on the other side that is facing towards the sun, whereas the Alpha Centauri is on the opposite side. So therefore, the closest star is Proxima Centauri. But Proxima Centauri and the Alpha Centauri B, actually, they are small stars, right? Uh, Simple telescope cannot differentiate these stars. You need sophisticated telescopes to actually see the three stars orbiting with each other. Now, then after that, we have the Bernard star, and then we have the Y star, and so forth, so forth. So beyond that, right, beyond all these, what you call it, neighborhood stars, and even though we call it neighborhood, is very, very far from us. Imagine 4 light years away from the sun, right? Our signal that we have actually, television has been around for close to a century, right? The first signal was sent out by humans 1930s, something like that, right? So close to a century. So these signals have been traveling out to the universe, because it leaked from the Earth. So 4 years after the first broadcast, right, that signal reached the Centauri's stars. Then now, 70, 80 years later, that signal, the first signal, the television broadcast, right, has reached to the radius of 80 light years of stars. Interesting thought. Some people say that if there are aliens living around that 80 light years of radius from the sun, then they will surely have received our signal by now, and we have broadcast our existence. And if they are benign, then they will come and help us. If they are not benign and uh, what is the opposite of benign? I forgot the word lah. If they want to invade us, they can invade us. So that sort of thing lah. But that's just some interesting thoughts. Are there aliens out there, right? How you define aliens? Like people say UFOs, and UFO visiting Earth, this and that, right? And interestingly, the only reports that we have UFOs, sightings of UFOs, only appeared after World War II, right? When humans have invented that jet engines and aeroplanes that travel very fast, and then people started to give that sightings of UFOs. Oh, I saw this thing and that thing, and they call it as UFO and this and that. Uh, and interestingly, most of that can be found in the West. You can't hardly find any reports of UFO sightings in the East or in Africa or in Russia, in Siberia, in China, Mongolia. No, everything comes from the West. and aeroplanes comes from the West. They invented aeroplanes first. So there are some links to that sightings, and the invention of the aeroplanes might be psychological. We do not know, right? But people ask, is there a UFO? What is the Islamic position on the existence of extraterrestrial beings or creatures? If you ask me, I say that nothing is impossible for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to create, right? And so therefore we cannot say 100% that there is no alien life form out there. But now this is a big condition here, right? Allah can create anything Allah wants. So they are vast, this is a vast universe with billions and billions of stars and billions of galaxies. We're going to cover that after this. So it is almost difficult to accept that the only life forms that can be found in this vast universe is on this measly small planet called Earth, right? In this very calm, peaceful neighborhood of our galaxy. So it's very difficult for people to accept. So there might be many aliens out there, but the condition is that these aliens, right, might not be thinking aliens. There might not be aliens that possess the intellectual ability to create technology that can travel or traverse this vast universe and reach us. By logic, any aliens out there that possess the technological advance more than us, that can travel across the universe, right, in a very short space of time. Of course, they can't beat the speed of the light, but it might be because there are some physics theories that say that if you travel through a wormhole, you can shortcut the distance between 2 points in space, right? So it might be these 2 points separated by 100 million light years or 100 light years, and with a wormhole, you can travel in short distance. You can travel in a short space of time and reach the other side. It might be, it might not be, right? Those are just theories, have not been discovered by anyone else, but just to entertain that thought, if there are aliens that can travel, that will possess that technology, then surely they are very much more advanced than us. The comparison between them and us will be like the comparison between us and might be a horse or a chimpanzee, right? Chimpanzee, they can create small, simple tools, right? They can take a stick and poke through an ant hole or whatever. It's a tool, and when it's raining, they will take what do you call it, banana leaves and put over their head as an umbrella. They have that thinking faculty. They can logically think that way, but it's very simple tool, very simple tool. So the comparison for those aliens with us, because we do not have that technology, will be like the comparison between us and chimpanzee. And if they come to us, right, if let's say we entertain the thought that these are the advanced aliens that have visited us for so long, right, we will not be aware of their existence. They will not be traveling in some spaceships that we can see, even though they say, "Oh, it's traveling very fast." That is very crude technology, right? They might be invisible to us, so they just entertain it for, right? So, if you ask me personally, I believe that there are extraterrestrial life forms, but they are simple life forms, right? It might be in the form of plants, some sort like plants. It might be like microbes, or what we know as animals, but of course very vastly different from us, because they might not be based on carbon. It's not carbon-based life. It might be silicon-based life. Now, why is it carbon-based life and silicon-based life? Because if you look at all life on Earth, we are based on carbon. Why carbon? Because basically carbon has 6 electrons, right? 2 electrons in the first shell and 4 electrons on the outer shell, the second shell. So it can create chain of molecules, easily create chain of molecules. It can create four sides of chains of molecules. So it can become a Lego building block that they can build long chain of molecules. So we are based on carbon. So we are called carbon-based life. But if you look at the what do you call it? periodic table, you can see that carbon and silicon, they are of the same column. It means that both carbon and silicon, they have 4 electrons on the outermost shell. So by right, silicon can also build long chain of molecules. But of course, it's bigger because silicon has 12 electrons. Sorry, no, 10 electrons, right, around it. So it might be silicon-based life form over there that don't need any food, or they need foods that cater to their silicon life forms, which is very, very alien from us. We do not know. But the basic principle is that nothing is impossible from Allah for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to create such life forms. That's number one. Number two, what about thinking life forms? If there are thinking life forms, then we do not know, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never tells us. And they will never visit us. We are separated from them, right? We will never have the opportunity to contact them, because if they have the ability to contact us, then surely, because we believe as Muslim that Rasulullah SAW was sent to whole al-alamin, right, to whole creatures, thinking creatures, be they jinn and human beings on this earth. So probably, right, the da'wah must reach them. But again, it is something that is not something that is not a must, because they might have their own prophets, right, their own messengers who speak their own language. So again, right, we cannot say 100% that um, there is no extraterrestrial life forms, be they thinking life forms or non-thinking life forms. But if they are thinking life forms, we will never know their existence unless they tell us of their existence. Because why? Because they are far more technologically advanced than us, or they are far more backwards than us. Uh, so because there is no what do you call it, close level of technological advances between civilizations across this universe. Unlike civilizations on Earth, because we are confined on a small planet. Even so, you look at this planet, this small planet, with the differences of just a few thousand years of civilizational development. You can see how, well, you can see the differences between, for example, the Spaniards and the Aztecs, right, and the Incas, right, in South America. When the Spaniards came with all the guns and the iron tools, right, and horses, they can easily overcome all these Aztecs and also the Incas, even though they are advanced, right, and in terms of their achievement, but they did not had the ability to master the smelting of iron. So they did not produce iron things, and they do not actually invent wheels. So therefore, they are backwards. Don't talk about gunpowders, right? So even though among humans, you can see vast differences in technological advances between civilizations. What more across this vast universe? So that's about it, right? So beyond that, beyond the solar, the neighborhood stars, you can see here our solar system here, a small dot here, and then you have all these stars, right? I'm sorry, it's not that clear, but you can see, for example, if you look here, we have Capella here, Aldebaran, one of the biggest stars, right? Pollux, bigger stars also. Arcturus here, bigger stars. So all these are very far from solar system, very far from us. And we have all these, what do you call it? Epsilon, and then all the number HT, whatever. All these are given by astronomers, right? They have a different catalog of stars. So by different group of astronomers. So that's why we have a multitude of names. Some names are easily for us to pronounce, like for example, Aldebaran, right? They're given by the Arabs, Al-Dabran, from the word Dabran. Dabran means the back. So Al-Dabran, right? So all those stars that starts with A and L or A and C or whatever, usually they came from the Arabs. But those that have letters and numbers, they usually came from modern astronomers who use modern catalogs. So instead of giving names to them, they give numbers, because that numbers will give them or make those stars easily identifiable for them. rather than names, because there are so many stars, right? If you have, let's say, a million stars, you can easily run out of names. So what to give to the stars that we just found? The 1001 stars, the number 1001 stars, we run out of names already, right? Even though we can use other languages, so it's easier to use numbers and letters. So that's how the astronomers do it. So this is called the solar interstellar neighborhood. You can see that if you look at this circle here, right? It can be, right, this is 10 light years, 20 light years, and 30 light years, right? So we have 30 light years of neighborhood stars, and there are more. This is just a sample of it. If you look up to the night sky, okay, and if you are in dark areas, no clouds, right? Very clear sky, no moon, right? Still, I mean, before any crescent appears. So it's a very dark place, dark sky. You can see all those stars up there, and you see it's countless number of stars, right? Beautiful stars. I mean, spread over the black velvet of the night sky, and some people say it's uncountable. So therefore, I said, my love to you is like the stars up there, uncountable loves. But actually, you can count them, right? You can count the number of stars. So how many stars can we see? The astronomers actually count them, painstakingly count the number of stars up there, and they found out that using our naked eye, if our eyes are good, right, not using spectacle like me, if you have a very good eye, 6 eyesight, we can actually see around 2,000 stars on the northern hemisphere, and another 2,000 stars on the southern hemisphere. And that is on the one side of our, what they call it, orbit around the sun. So imagine, right, you see, I'll show it. If you have sun here and the earth is over here, so you can see on this side, the night side, right, all the stars. But at this part lah, the hemisphere, right? So as the earth orbits, you can still see the stars. But as the earth orbits the other side of the sun, you can see on the other side, right, all those stars. So you can see about 4,000 stars here. You can see about 4,000 stars there. So altogether it's around 8,000, around that, right? Close to that, plus minus. So that is just the number of stars that we can see with our naked eye if we have good eyesight. But with telescopes, with instruments, you can see a million stars, more than that, right? Because they can capture all those, what they call it, very faint stars that our eyes cannot capture. What more, right now they have sent out all those space telescopes like Hubble. Hubble is actually very old telescope. They have sent out better telescopes up there. They call it Kepler space telescopes out there, very far out beyond the orbit of the moon actually. And this Kepler telescope actually captures not just light rays. It can capture also infrared uh, rays or infrared wavelengths. So Kepler telescope captured much more than that, right? Hubble telescope still usable, still in good working condition, and with just Hubble telescope, which was launched in early 1990s, if not mistaken, because they created the main mirror in 1980s. I remember I read that they polished the mirror to such an extent. It was wonderful technological achievement. The mirror used in Hubble telescope is so smooth that it is smoother than the seas looking from the space. If you are from space, right, if you're orbiting the Earth in a satellite or whatever, you look down on Earth, you can see actually seas, right? And it is a uniform blue thing. You see that is a very beautiful blue thing. Right? But we all know that seas are not that smooth, not that beautiful, because seas are always, there are waves, right? Pushing here and there are big waves, small waves. So C is actually a rough thing, right? A rough thing. But the mirror used by Hubble is polished to such an extent that if you use the analogy of you looking at the sea, and the sea is the Hubble telescope mirror, right? The roughness have been reduced to just very small waves of about 1-2 centimeters. Imagine, right? That's how they polished the mirror. It's very, very smooth. So therefore, when they put on the Hubble telescope, when they launch it, right, to the Earth orbit, it opens up new views of stars. Suddenly, millions and millions of stars came into view. Not just stars, right? Galaxies came into view. So it opened up a new door of knowledge for astronomers to discover. And then when astronomers sent out recently in 2011, right, they sent out another telescope. They call it the Kepler telescope that can capture greater clarity, greater sharpness of stars, and not just on the visible wavelength of light, but can extend to the infrared, right, and ultraviolet. And so therefore, Kepler telescope has greater ability to see stars, and Kepler telescope actually discovered thousands of planets orbiting around thousands of stars. As of now, right, the number of extraterrestrial planets, or what they call it as exoplanets, right? Exoplanets is a term given to planets that orbit around other stars rather than the sun, right? As of now, it's about 4,000 plus planets. Some of them, right, no, I'm going to see some of them. Most of them are huge, big, whether they are very hot or very cold, but a few of them are of our Earth candidate. It means that it is almost like our size. So with a gravitational pull like us, right? Or some of them are huge, big, but they are on that distance from their stars where temperature is below boiling temperature of water and above freezing temperature of water. So it is possible for earth creatures to stay there, to live there. But of course, there are other factors that will not allow us to go there, right? Because it's not just about temperature, it's not just about gravitational pull, it's also about the type of the star that it orbits around it, and the atmosphere, right? And a lot of other things. But the fact that Kepler discovered thousands of planets and counting on, right? And astronomers, when they first discovered the first planet, they were so excited. Now when they discover another planet, they say, meh, another planet. And they look at it, another planet. So planet keeps on coming into their view, right? So it become planets, exoplanets become something that is quite ordinary, round of the mill. uh, Unlike when they first discovered the planet, wow, there's another planet outside the solar system. Wow, that's so wonderful. Now they say that it is a given thing that all stars, almost all stars, have planets orbiting around it. It's a given thing, right? So we are expecting a deluge of planets. It might increase to millions of planets out there, right? Whether habitable or not, there's another thing. Okay, so that is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows us his richness, right? His power for Muslims, for those thinking. And that is why, right, if you look at Surah Al Imran, this is always to remember, this is one of the, what do you call it, the greatest ayats that Allah SWT has revealed, beside, of course, other ayats like Surah Ayat Kursi and so forth. But towards the end of Surah Al Imran, when it was revealed during the night, Rasulullah SAW cried. So when Bilal came and found out Rasulullah SAW cried, because of Bilal came to make that azan subuh. So Bilal asked the Prophet SAW, why did you cry? Why do you cry, O Prophet? The Prophet SAW was revealed to me this ayat was the end of Surah Al Imran. And woe betide, a misfortune for people who, when they read this ayat, they never internalize the meaning. What is that ayat? The ayat starts from Inna fi khalqis samawati wal ardi wa ikhtilafil layli wan nahari la ayatin li ulil albab. Verily, in the creation of the heavens and the earth, and the differences of day and night, those are the signs for those people who wants to think, or those are the signs for thinking people. And then Allah Subhanahu wa Taala says, the characteristics of these thinking people is that when they look up to the stars, right, and they will say, uh, uh, Subhanaka ma khalaqta hadha batila. Oh, glory to you, O Allah. You have not created all these things up there, all these stars, in vain. Batila. Faqina adab nar. Protect us from the hellfire. So when they look up there, right, these are the people that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala praised. When they look up there, they learn and they see the vastness of Allah's creations. They have that what they call it, humility in them, how small we are. What is it, this life that we are running for day and night? I mean, chasing after wealth, where Allah's wealth is out there, and it's for us, actually, for Muslims, right? Not in this life, but the hereafter. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala I mean, for me, one of the purpose that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created this vast universe, right, is to inform us that this thing will be for you, but not in this life. When you enter Jannah, all these things, all this universe, as vast as this universe is, this universe and its vastness actually for every single one of you. Every single one of you will have your own vastness of universe to explore. How do we know? Because the Prophet ﷺ said to us, right, inform us that every one of us, right, we have a Jannah that will be much bigger than the heavens and the earth. The whole heavens and the earth for us, for every single one of us. So that's why there's no boredom when people enter Jannah. How you have infinite time to discover infinite number of stars, or to explore the whole of your Jannah. We never end. So that is part of I mean, if you ask me, part of the purpose that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala still opening up the vistas of this universe for us. And as we discover more, right, we found out that there are more to it than meets the eye. It is like, many scientists say that science is like, what do you call it, a fractal. You know what's a fractal? A fractal is an endless repetition of pattern. That is fractal. So you have, let's say, for example, a flower, and then a petal of that flower. So on that petals of flower, you have small things coming out. Then you zoom in on that thing. When you zoom in on that thing, you found out that every single one of these things is another small petal with another small things around it. And then when you zoom in on that single one, it appears that it is actually another petal with small things around it. When we zoom in, you can find it's another petal. So it's endless infinite number of opening up of patterns, same patterns repeating itself, right, to infinity. That is fractal. So some scientists say that science is like that. It's like a bottomless tube. You think that you have reached to the bottom of that tube. Suddenly, right, the door opens and you found out that you fell into another hole and discover new things, and you reach to the bottom. You see, you have reached to the end already, but then it opens up and then you fall into another field of knowledge. So it's an endless field of knowledge, and that is actually true because Allah possesses an infinite knowledge, and Allah gives us just a tiny amount of that knowledge for us to discover, right? So the universe is like that, subhanallah, right? And this is just a interstellar neighborhood for us, solar system. Now we go beyond that, right? And then we have all the stars, right, actually doing tawaf or orbiting around what is called as a galaxy. Okay, a galaxy is a collection of stars, and there are a great variety of galaxies, the shapes, differ from one to another. Ours is called a spindle galaxy or a rotating or a disk galaxy, right? Ours is like a disk galaxy. How many stars are there in at least in our galaxy? We actually do not know. Nobody knows, but we can give an estimate. But our estimate might be very, very wrong, right? Right now, the current estimate is that there are 100 billion stars in our galaxies, and that is a very, very conservative estimate. It might be a billion stars in our galaxies. We actually do not know, right? Because what we can see is actually when we look up there and our telescopes and our whatever space telescopes that we have, we can actually see stars around, if let's say around this region. If you can see my cursor, I'm drawing a circle, it's around this region. Just this region, and already a million stars. We can't see stars across the galaxy in this area. Why? Because we've been blocked by the galaxy center. We can't see stars around here because, again, we are being blocked by the galaxy centers. We might see stars somewhere here, but definitely around this region, just around this region, right? Not beyond that. So around this region, and then they multiply it because there are already, okay, a number of stars around this region, and then, okay, then we multiply and we see if there's uniformity in number of stars across the galaxy, our own galaxy. So you multiply it and you have around 100 billion stars, right? So that's just an estimate. Just like if people ask how many furs are there on the ship's body, how you want to count that, right? If you say, let me count 1, 2, 3, 4, that is silly, right? You don't use maths, just use maths. You can find a small area, right? Let's say 1 centimeter squared, and you can count from the small area how many number of furs growing there. Then you multiply by the size of the ship itself. Then you can find the estimate number of furs, right? It might be 100 million, it might be 200 million. Right? You can just multiply. So math is a very powerful tool. But again, estimates. You might be way wrong, or you might be close to the truth. We do not know. Right? So how many stars are there in our own galaxy? Best estimate, 100 million, but it can be more than that. Definitely much more than that. And where are we? Right? Where is our interstellar neighborhood that I showed just now here? All the number of stars, 30 light years, 40 light years across, right? It's around here. Just a small dot here. And the sun is within this interstellar neighborhood. And this whole neighborhood is actually orbiting around the Milky Way galaxy. Of course, this is just an artist's impression, and nobody actually can figure out the actual shape of our galaxy because we are inside that galaxy, right? So we cannot actually see from outside and see, oh, the galaxy shape is like this. No. So we can estimate it's just like maybe like this. So we are here, right? Some time ago, right, astronomers estimate, they estimated that the distance, our neighborhood galaxies here, our neighborhood stars here, or the sun itself, right, the distance of our sun to the galaxy center is around 27,000 light years. Imagine that. 27,000 light years. It means that when we look up towards the galaxy center, the light that came out from the galaxy center that reached our eye actually escaped there 27,000 years ago. Way before the pyramids were built. It was during the Ice Age, right? Of course, they were already humans on Earth, and they were already humans on Australia. But imagine 27,000 light years, 27,000 years ago, the light escaped from here, and now they've reached our eyes. That's how far we are from the galaxy center. So we are actually in a, what do you call it? The astronomers call it a very peaceful neighborhood, suburban, right? Not the real center of that city, but suburban, or maybe a kampong area lah, where it's very quiet, right? Rural area. When we talk about quiet, it means that there are not many nearby stars, even though we see there are a lot of stars around us, but they are not closely packed together, right? If we reach closer towards the what do you call it, the galaxy center, we go into the urban areas and we can see stars closely packed together. So we have stars, right, that is very, very closely packed, and we can't, if we are there, when we look up the sky, we don't see specks of lights, but we see the night sky very bright with many, many stars packed together, close together, but they don't hit each other. That's the beauty of Allah's creation. They are close, but they never hit each other. Somehow rather, they manage to have to run their own track. Because Allah SWT says in Surah Yasin, وَكُلٌّ فِي فَلَكٍ يَسْبَحُونَ, everything out there, right, runs on its own orbit or course. Right? They will not hit each other. Rarely they hit each other. Of course, they will hit each other. Sometimes they will, two stars collide with each other, but rarely. Right? So even though they are closely packed around, close to the galaxy center, but they will not hit each other. So we are actually situated on the rural part of the galaxy, very quiet, very safe, and that is the period of human existence. Allah chose this time when our sun is at this region, right, to put us on Earth and to live our lives, our whole civilizations, right, while the sun and Earth is at this region. But it's not going to be always a rural region, because the galaxy is actually like this. Okay, we theorize, right, that the galaxy, our galaxy, is actually they have spiral arms. So we are in the region between two spiral arms. So we are moving towards, we are orbiting towards. We're orbiting around the center of galaxy, but we, or the sun itself, right, will enter the region where the stars are packed together, and these are the spiral arms. So when the sun enters one of the spiral arms, where it is called urban area, where everything is densely packed together, just like our flats, right? So a lot of noises and this and that, traffic, right? You can't have that much peace, unlike those in villages. So therefore, right, the sun will encounter much turbulence, gravitational turbulence, where there'll be passing stars, and when stars pass close to Earth, to our sun, then they will disturb all those, what they call it, the Oort clouds. Remember, right? All these billions and billions of small comets domain. This is a domain of comets. All these comets, they lay still. Then you have a passing star, so we disturb the gravitational pull, much like you have a very peaceful water, and then you start to shake the water and everything will bob up and down. So therefore all these comets will start to be disturbed by the gravitational ripples of the passing star, and they will start shooting towards the sun. So we're going to have thousands, maybe millions of all these, what do you call it, boulders, right, that will reach the sun's, our orbit here, and we'll see as shooting stars, comets, right, and so forth, and we destroy the Earth, right? It will destroy the Earth. The Earth will be utterly destroyed if, let's say, there is a passing star that disturbs the Kuiper belt or the Oort cloud. See, our life is actually hang in a balance, right? Allah can destroy us anytime that Allah wants. There is no guarantee. So therefore, right, when Allah described Yawmul Qiyamah in the Quran, Allah described it in terms of earth being destroyed by earthquakes, falling stars, right? The sun's, what they call it, the sun's brightness to be taken away, right? And so many violent things. So that is the end of the Earth. Fortunately, for all this lifetime of Earth, for 4.5 billion years, yes, probably there are a lot of violent, what they call it, shootings of all these boulders from the Oort clouds, right? Stones, comets that hit Earth, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not decree that Earth destroyed by all those bombardments of comets, but it might be in the future. We do not know, right? But we believe in Yawmul Qiyamah. It might be that is the fate of Earth and will be destroyed once, let's say, for example, the sun with its companions of planets, right, and children, those children of the sun, enters this violent region of our galaxy. Right now, we are situated around what do you call it here. There's the sun here, so it is a region we just passed quite what they call it, a densely packed region of stars. We are entering a sparsely region of stars, and then we're going to enter another densely packed region of stars, and that's where the interesting things will happen, right? So we are very fortunate. Allah has decreed that when the sun is in this region, right, Allah put down Nabi Adam alayhi salam on earth, and we build civilizations, and we must know that everything will end. Right? Some people say, can't we escape from Earth? We can try, but our current technology will not allow us to escape. Even if we to escape, where do we want to escape to? Another close planet, right? Where it's not similar to Earth. Nothing is similar to Earth. You find hardships, right? If you want to go to another planet. Uh, but again, that planet that you're going to go is orbiting, will surely orbit around a star, and that star will surely one day enter a violent region of the galaxy, right? So that is the thing. But our sun, our Earth might be saved from all those bombardments of comets, right? Like in the past. This is just a game of, we call it a game of chance, lah, right? Whether you're going to be hit by that or not. Some use the analogy, some astronomers use the analogy of like this. We on Earth, we are like, a duck in an amusement park, right? Where there are people trying to shoot the duck, and the duck is moving left, right, and you come here, you give money, and then you try to shoot the duck, right? And if you manage to shoot the duck, and you be given present, of course, if you use money, then of course it's haram lah. But the analogy is that the duck is moving left and right, left and right, left and right. And if you're a good shooter, you can shoot the duck. That's for sure. Now, they say that the earth is like the duck, right? And the duck, this yellow duck is moving left and right, left and right. And then there's not just one shooter trying to shoot the duck, but there are millions of shooters with all their guns aiming at the duck, waiting for them to just shoot the duck. And that is the position of Earth. We are just rotating, orbiting around the sun, and there are millions of Oort clouds objects out there just waiting for the time for a passing sun or passing star to disturb their orbit, and everything will come down and bombarding the sun and also us. And there goes Earth. There goes the beautiful Earth. Okay. Now, our position is actually not, like I said just now, it's 27 million light years from the sun, from the galaxy center. Recently, the Japanese, after their research on about 20, almost to 20 years, 2 decades, they did research on distance of Earth from the sun, and then recently they announced that actually we are at 25,000 light years from the galaxy center. So we are 2,000 light years closer to the galaxy center than the previous estimate. And we are actually moving, the sun is actually moving around the galaxy center at a speed of around 270 kilometers per second. Imagine in 1 second, right, the sun has moved 270 kilometers. It's just like almost like a distance from Singapore to Kuala Lumpur. So in 1 second, you are in Kuala Lumpur. That's how fast the sun and the companion planets, right, move around the galaxy center. But the galaxy is so huge, it has been estimated that it takes around close to 250 to maybe 300 million years for the sun to make a full orbit of the galaxy, 200 to 300 million years. So the last time the Earth and the Sun, right, they were at this position, the dinosaurs roam planet Earth. When last time lah, when it was here. And before that, 2 cycles before, there were no dinosaurs on Earth, right? And 2 cycles before, the Earth was locked into an what do you call it, a freezing ice. So the next cycle, 270, maybe 250 million years in the future, when the Earth and the Sun reach at this position again, we do not know what's going to happen, right? Of course, we are all long gone now, right? And might be the Earth also long gone, right? But the Sun might be still shining. We do not know, right? Nothing can be fixed right now. So anyway, this is our galaxy, right? So there are many things in our galaxy. We have this, what they call it, star forming regions at the edge of the galaxies, where there are hydrogen and helium gas still forming stars. And you can look, actually, if you look up to the sky, you look towards the constellation of Pleiades, right? If your eye is good, you can see a bunch of stars, just like grapes, towards that region, right? And these are the region where newly formed stars were there, or are there, were or are, up to you lah, whether to use present or past time, because we're always in the past. When you look up this, always in the past, right? We call it the star nurseries, right? Nursery of stars, where newly formed stars started to shine bright. And then we have the molecular clouds, where they're just clouds. We have dust. So a lot of things, right, in the galaxy itself. In the center of the galaxy is very bright, because most stars are concentrated here. They're being attracted by what we believe to be a very huge, massive black hole at the galaxy center. So this massive black hole is absorbing all the stars. So the stars is eating the stars. Right? Stars are that black hole's food. So stars are falling to that black hole at incredible rate. We do not know how many stars per minute or how many stars per hour, but because so many stars are falling to that black hole, right? So it creates a very bright, what they call it, light emitting from the galaxy center. So there is a black hole. There are many black holes. There are huge black holes, there are small black holes. What are those black holes? Inshallah, we'll continue next week, right? Just bear in mind, right, the vastness of Allah's creations. We are at just a very ordinary neighborhood in our ordinary galaxy, and there are going to be other galaxies going to discover after this, inshallah. Okay, I'm going to stop here. Let's see whether there are any questions in the chat box. Wow, okay. There are a number of questions. Do other stars have their own set of solar system like ours? What we have observed, like I shared with you just now, the Kepler space telescopes, they found out that, yeah, there are a number of planets orbiting a number of stars. So there are stars that have 3-4 planets orbiting around it. Some have just one planet, as far as we can discover, but some have 7-10 planets around it. So a number of planets. There's no fixed number of planets orbiting around the stars, whether very close or very far, whether very big or very small. Just now you mentioned an ayah describing about the creation of the heavens and the earth. Can share with us which surah and ayah number that it's come from? It is towards the end of Surah Ali Imran. If you open up Al-Quran, Surah Al Imran has 200 ayats. It can be ayat 190, right? 10 ayats from there. It starts from the ayat inna fi khalqis samawati wal ard, which it is encouraged for us to recite if we wake up middle of the night and perform our tahajjud prayer. Right? So around 190, around that. It starts with verily the creation, the heavens and the earth, and the changing of the night and the day. All these are signs for people who have thinking faculty, people who think. So that is the ayat. and Surah Al-Imran. Surah Al-Imran is the third surah is the third surah of Al-Quran, just like our planet is the third planet from the sun. What is the center of the Milky Way galaxy? Astronomers suspect that, like I said just now, a huge, very big black hole. We can't see the black hole directly, but we theorize that it's a black hole because stars keep on falling on it, circling around it, just like water circling around a sinkhole, and then after that disappeared inside it. So it might be. And as more stars being eaten by this black hole will get bigger and bigger. The mass will get bigger and bigger. Will you say that Allah created all the galaxy just for life on Earth, as in Surah Luqman, verse 20? Let me check. What do you mean by Surah Luqman, verse 20? Surah Luqman, verse 20, Allah Subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Alam tara anna Allah sakhara lakum ma fi samawati wa ma fil ardi wa asbagha alaykum ni'amahu dhahiratan wa batina. Alam tara anna Allah sakhara lakum ma fi samawati wa ma fil ardi. Have you not seen that Allah Subhanahu wa ta'ala has made things easy for you, everything that is in the heavens and on earth for us, right? Now, what is it for us? What does it mean by Allah make things, everything that's up there for us? A very clear interpretation will be, or very clear answer will be that Allah has made things easier for us to calculate their movements. Even though the maths is very complex, actually Allah has opened up the doors for us to calculate them. They get their movements, right? Their masses, this and that. That's number one. Number two, if you look at those people in the past, right? These stars are made easy for them to recognize. They are fixed, even though actually they are moving, but because they are so far from us, so it's just like the fixed stars for us. And so therefore we can recognize patterns, constellations, and will help us in our journey, right? During the time when we don't have any GPS, compass, or whatever, we depend on the stars. And even now, right, those navigators on ships, right, they must learn the constellations because they must anticipate the time where GPS will break down, compass will break down, so they have to have the ability, right, to read the stars. So that is how the stars has been made easy for us, right? But to travel there, no, right? So stars are not be easy for us to travel. We can absorb in their beauties and calculate their distance, their movements and that, and know their patterns and that, but that's all about it. So that is what I think the interpretation for verse 20 Surah Luqman. Now, oh yeah, okay. So Alhamdulillah, Cik Zazari has answered for me. Thank you very much, Cik Zazari, for that. I just realized we've answered it. If I know, I would not answer it. Okay, so that's about it. The questions that we have for tonight. Inshallah, we're going to continue our journey. Or there's one more. Okay, Alhamdulillah. So inshallah, next week we continue our journey beyond our galaxy, right to the edge of the universe, inshallah. All right, thank you very much. We end with Tasbih Kafara and Suratul Asr. سبحانك وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. See you all.